It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Power has always obeyed this law, and you feel its shadow every time you are overlooked, dismissed, or betrayed. What seemed like a small slight was not casual. It was a strike in a quiet war. Life is not neutral ground. It is a battlefield where kindness without strength becomes a signal for predators to advance. In this arena, the man who insists on being soft, naive, or endlessly forgiving does not survive long. He is not respected, he is not feared, and he is rarely loved. He is tolerated until he is discarded. The enemy is not outside first, it is inside. Weakness, hesitation, and blind trust sit at your own table, eating your provisions, dulling your blade. You may believe you are choosing peace, but in truth you are surrendering territory. Every time you delay, every time you excuse, every time you hope that goodness alone will protect you, you abandon another piece of the throne you were meant to guard. Consider the modern office. You do the extra work, but another man presents it with louder confidence, and he reaps the credit. You think fairness will prevail, but fairness is not the law here. The law is presence, command, and strategy. When you step back out of politeness, you are not noble. You are invisible. In silence, others claim what you abandoned. Weak. I don't want to cause conflict. Strong. I will not allow my work to be stolen. Weak. I'll let it go this time. Strong. My boundary is clear, and I will enforce it. Language is a weapon. Dull words invite attack. Sharp words command space. Imagine a small disagreement with a colleague. He raises his voice, trying to unsettle you. You do not shout back. You stay calm, hold eye contact, and respond with steady firmness. No insults, no excess. Just control. That moment communicates more ruthlessness than rage ever could. You prove you are not shaken. You prove you are not prey. The throne is always at stake. Either you seize it within your own mind, discipline, presence, command, or you are trampled beneath it by those less talented but more ruthless. The choice is not optional, and the cost of hesitation is erased. Take this as your opening law of power. Rule yourself or be ruled. The mind is the first throne, and whoever rules it dictates the course of their life. Power does not appear by chance. It is seized first in thought, then in action. When your mind is disciplined, every decision you make reflects sovereignty. When your mind is scattered, every step you take reflects submission. The battlefield is invisible, yet it is the most decisive of all. A man who does not master his inner crown will never wear an outer one. History makes this clear. Great leaders trained their minds as relentlessly as they trained their armies. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the impetuous, not because chance is blind, but because disciplined minds can act with boldness. A ruler who mastered his own impulses could read the moves of others with clarity, while those consumed by doubt were easily manipulated. The principle is the same today. Your thoughts either serve you as loyal guards or betray you as traitors opening the gates. The enemy is within. Doubt, hesitation, and self-pity creep like usurpers, waiting for a lapse in vigilance. You hesitate once, and an opportunity is gone. You indulge self-pity, and you hand over the sword. Every time you repeat the story of why you cannot, you polish the enemy's armor. The throne in your mind is never empty. Either you rule it with presence or weakness occupies it by default. Weak. I'll try if I feel ready. Strong. I will act and readiness will follow. Weak. Maybe someday. Strong. I begin now. Language reveals who sits on your throne. In daily life, this battle shows itself quietly. You plan to wake early, but you delay. You intend to confront a problem, but you explain it away. You mean to focus, yet distraction wins. These are not small lapses. They are silent coups against your sovereignty. Power is not lost in one grand defeat. It is surrendered piece by piece in these ordinary concessions. When you defend your throne with discipline, however, every act becomes a coronation, rising on time, focusing deliberately, cutting away excuses. Each is a ceremony that declares you ruler. History often shows that rulers and generals valued their mornings as sacred ground. They used early hours for decisions, correspondence, or preparation, knowing the mind is clearest before noise begins. The principle remains unchanged. The first actions of your day become orders to the army of your thoughts. Rise early, and you declare war with precision. Delay, and you give victory to inertia before battle even starts. The ambush comes disguised as comfort. The warmth of the bed whispers surrender. The glow of the screen offers escape, disguised as connection. Every distraction is a rival commander attempting to capture your attention. You think one more scroll, one more moment of rest, is harmless, yet these small indulgences are tactical losses. The battle is not in how grand your victories look. It is in whether you resist ambushes that steal your time and weaken your resolve. Weak, I'll ease into the day. Strong, I strike first. Weak, I'll just check quickly. Strong, I move with intent. Picture this. A colleague messages you early with an urgent request. You have not even claimed your own ground yet. If you rush to answer, you are already reacting instead of commanding. A sovereign leader would pause, establish his priorities, and then respond on his terms. Calm firmness wins. You show that your time is ruled by you, not seized by others. The difference is subtle, but it communicates authority without a word. Your morning ritual is not luxury, it is armor. Whether it is silence, reading, training, or writing, it is the forging of steel for the day ahead. These acts may seem ordinary, yet they build invisible walls that chaos cannot breach. Discipline here is not about perfection, but about consistency. You may not control the battles that arrive later, but you can control whether you step onto the field armored or exposed. Every dawn is a campaign. Comfort will always lay its traps. Weakness will always whisper, retreat. But if you rise with intent, act before the world seizes you, and guard the first strike, you already hold the throne of the day. Win the morning, and you win the war. Stillness is not surrender. It is the unsheathed blade, held steady before the strike. The predator proves this. The lion does not rush blindly into the herd. It crouches, silent, motionless, waiting until the moment of highest certainty. Patience here is violence delayed, not denied. To move too soon is to waste strength. To wait with intent is to guarantee the kill. Power is no different. The sovereign who governs himself in silence controls the timing of every move, while the restless expose themselves in their noise. Throughout history, patience has crowned rulers more securely than fury. Generals who struck too quickly often found themselves destroyed by their own haste. Those who paused, observed, and struck with precision wrote their names into victory. The principle is not about slowness, but about control. Stillness is a form of command. It is the throne of timing, the place from which power waits until others exhaust themselves. The ability to remain unmoved when provoked is a weapon that frightens more than aggression. Yet, most people cannot endure silence. They rush to fill every gap with chatter, every pause with movement, every quiet with distraction. They reveal themselves through excess words, oversharing thoughts, and frantic action. In the modern world, stillness feels unbearable to many because it forces them to face their own undisciplined mind. Weak, I have to respond right now. Strong, I will answer on my terms. Weak, Silence is awkward. Strong, silence is power. The one who can endure quiet without fear holds the upper hand. Stillness sharpens the edge of clarity. In the absence of noise, you see more. You notice the hesitation in someone's eyes, the inconsistency in their tone, the hidden motive in their offer. What others miss in their haste, you capture in calm. Stillness reveals enemies hiding in plain sight and opportunities concealed beneath distraction. The world is full of signals, but only the still mind can read them. Power is not built by collecting endlessly. It is secured by cutting away without hesitation. A general does not win battles by keeping every soldier, every supply, every alliance. He wins by removing the weak links that would collapse under pressure. History shows this principle again and again. Armies that carried too much baggage slowed themselves into defeat. Leaders who tolerated unreliable men found their thrones stolen from within. Survival has always belonged to those ruthless enough to eliminate liabilities before they become disasters. In your life, the weak links are not just people, but habits, distractions, and indulgences that seem harmless yet sabotage your sovereignty. Every time you allow a distraction to linger, you hand a dagger to an enemy. The constant lure of screens, endless notifications, pointless arguments, or shallow entertainment may look small, but each cuts your focus. Power is concentration. Without it, you cannot strike effectively, cannot plan clearly, cannot command respect. Weak, I'll get to it later. Strong, I will remove it now. Weak, it's not a big deal. Strong, it is a threat to my throne. The framing determines whether you treat distractions as toys or as daggers aimed at you. Imagine being interrupted in the middle of a presentation. Someone tries to steer the discussion off course with an irrelevant point. If you indulge it, the energy of the room scatters. If you calmly cut it off, that's not relevant now, we'll address it later. You keep control. You do not insult. You do not raise your voice. You strike surgically, removing the distraction so the mission continues. That calm act of elimination shows authority more than any display of frustration could. Ruthlessness here is not cruelty. It is precision. It is the willingness to cut away what does not serve your strategy, even when it feels comfortable. Many fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack the courage to cut. They cling to outdated routines, toxic ties, or empty comforts until their strength drains away. Elimination is not harshness toward yourself, it is mercy toward your destiny. When you strike away the excess, you clear space for power to consolidate. Do not confuse addition with progress. The sovereign who keeps piling on without removing ends up burdened, not strengthened. The one who strips down to what is essential becomes fast, sharp, untouchable. Power rewards the ruthless, not because they are cruel, but because they are willing to decide what must die so that what matters can live. Eliminate without hesitation, or be eliminated by hesitation. Power is often won not by brute strength, but by appearance. The mask is the armor of rulers, and history offers endless proof. Leaders wore masks of virtue to hide ambition, masks of mercy to cover cruelty, masks of humility to disguise hunger for control. Machiavelli observed that men judge more by what they see than by what they touch, because sight belongs to everyone, while truth belongs to few. A ruler who appeared generous could still be ruthless, and a leader who appeared merciful could still be feared. The mask was not deception for vanity's sake, it was survival on the chessboard of power. This law holds in the modern world. In the workplace, the one who masters presentation often outranks the one with raw skill. Your image becomes your opening move, the first piece placed on the board. If you appear uncertain, Others sense weakness and move to dominate. If you appear calm and in command, even when uncertain, you force hesitation in your rivals. Weak, I hope they see my effort. Strong, I will project authority. Weak, I just want to be liked. Strong, I will be respected first. You cannot control every judgment, but you can control the mask you wear. The mask is not false when used with discipline. It is camouflage. Just as a commander paints armor to blend with the terrain, you present yourself strategically to shield your vulnerabilities. Consider a disagreement in a meeting. A colleague challenges you sharply, hoping to expose doubt. If you rush to defend yourself nervously, you lose ground. If you pause, stay composed and answer with measured confidence, you show command. Your tone becomes armor, your stillness the mask. Even if you feel pressure, you do not reveal it. The image holds, and the board tilts in your favor. Power bows to perception, not reality. You may be calculating quietly inside, but what others see decides how they move around you. This is why leaders in every era cultivated presence, ritual, and symbols. A crown is not just metal, it is the mask of authority made visible. Today, your crown is your posture, your words, your controlled responses under fire. The invisible crown you wear commands respect long before proof of strength arrives. The assassin within you is not fueled by rage, but by cold precision. History shows that assassins who changed empires thrived on focus, not fury. Their strength was not in wild aggression, but in absolute control of timing, movement, and intent. They embodied discipline so sharp it cut through kings and generals. This same discipline is demanded of you not to end lives, but to end weakness. The inner assassin exists to remove hesitation, to strike down excuses, and to destroy the old self that keeps you bound. The first kill is always hesitation. Every time you wait, every time you rationalize, you grant your enemy the first move. In the modern world, that enemy is distraction, delay, and self-sabotage. You say you will start tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes another excuse. You say you are not ready, and opportunity slips by. The assassin does not wait for the perfect conditions. He acts when the strike matters most. Weak, I'll see how I feel. Strong, I will act now. Weak, I'll start when it's easier. Strong, I begin before it feels easy. This shift in language is the blade that cuts hesitation apart. Consider a disagreement with someone who challenges your plan. You could argue, defend, or lash out. The inner assassin chooses precision instead. You pause, measure the moment, and respond with clarity. No wasted words, no unnecessary emotion. You cut to the core of the objection, remove it, and move forward. That calm, surgical removal shows more strength than anger ever could. Others may talk endlessly. You strike with a single decisive sentence. This is the assassin's way. Measured, efficient, final. This inner ruthlessness is not cruelty. It is loyalty to your destiny. To spare weakness is to betray strength. To keep excuses alive is to assassinate your future. Precision, discipline, and courage form the silent executor within you. You do not need rage. You do not need noise. You need the calm hand willing to strike down what no longer serves. That is how rulers are forged. Kill weakness or it kills you. Inside you live two forces, the obedient dog and the wild wolf. The dog seeks comfort, recognition, and safety. The wolf seeks freedom, strength, and conquest. Power rewards the wolf, but only if you feed him. This is not poetry, it is psychology. What you reward grows stronger. Every habit, every choice, every indulgence is food. The dog grows fat on comfort. The wolf sharpens on discipline. Whoever you feed most will command you. The psychological law is simple but ruthless. Reinforcement builds identity. Reward distraction and it multiplies. Reward discipline and it hardens into character. History shows rulers understood this. They trained themselves not to indulge every appetite, because indulgence weakens will. They practiced restraint, not for morality, but for strength. A sovereign cannot be ruled by impulse. A man who masters his rewards masters his destiny. If you feed weakness, you make weakness king. If you feed strength, you forge sovereignty. In the modern world, the dog is fed endlessly. Entertainment, gossip, constant scrolling, and cheap pleasures offer unlimited comfort. The dog loves approval, noise, and distraction, but the more you feed it, the less capable you become. The wolf inside you, neglected, grows lean but restless. He waits for discipline, for challenge, for hunger. When you train, study, work in silence, or refuse easy indulgence, you feed the wolf. Weak, I deserve to relax first. Strong, I will earn rest by victory. Weak, I need validation. Strong, I will let results speak. Your language signals whether you place the bull before the dog or the wolf. The predator awakens when the wolf is fed with discipline and starved of indulgence. Hunger sharpens him. He does not seek comfort, but conquest. He thrives in silence, in effort, in resistance. When unleashed, he moves with certainty, striking with purpose where the dog would hesitate. This awakening is not brutality, it is clarity. It is the return of instincts that modern life buries under endless comfort. You must choose daily which force survives. Each choice is a feeding. The crown belongs not to the comfortable but to the ruthless. Let the dog weaken, let the wolf rise. Feed the wolf and the throne is yours. Life is a chessboard, and every move is political warfare, whether you admit it or not. Power has always belonged to the players, never the pawns. History confirms this. Rulers who saw further than their rivals, who planned 3 or 4 moves ahead, secured their thrones. Those who played impulsively or failed to see the board clearly were captured, betrayed, and erased. Machiavelli warned that men more quickly forget the death of their father than the loss of their fortune, because material losses move the board, while sentiment does not. Power respects calculation, not emotion. The chessboard is everywhere around you. Social media is not neutral. It is a field where image, influence, and perception are traded like pieces. Careers are chessboards where promotions, alliances, and rivalries determine who advances. Even relationships carry moves of negotiation, concession, or assertion. To ignore this truth is to live as a pawn, moved at will by others who recognize the game. Weak, I just hope it works out. Strong, I will plan my moves. Weak, I don't like politics. Strong, I will learn the board before others play me. Denying the game does not erase it. It only ensures you lose unseen battles. Sacrifice is also part of strategy. In chess, you sometimes lose a piece to secure a greater position. In life, you may need to release a role, an opportunity, or even a relationship that keeps you boxed in. Ruthlessness here is clarity, knowing that not every piece must be saved, but every sacrifice must serve the throne. Many cling to everything and lose the game through overload. The strategist lets go of what weakens long-term command. This is not recklessness, but foresight. The sovereign who sacrifices well does not diminish power, he multiplies it. You are always on the board. You are either a pawn following someone else's plan, or a player shaping your own. No neutrality exists. Every silence, every action, every concession is a move. See the board, train your sight, Accept that power bows not to chance, but to strategy. Play like a sovereign, or be played like a pawn. Willpower is not born ready. It is forged like iron, through fire and hammer, beaten into strength by repetition and heat. The ancients understood this truth. Stoic leaders treated the mind as a soldier, trained daily to obey command rather than impulse. They exposed themselves to discomfort, not to suffer, but to sharpen control. A ruler who cannot command himself cannot command an army or a people. Discipline, repeated until unbreakable, was the ritual that separated sovereigns from pawns. This principle endures. Your will is not a gift. It is a weapon forged in daily resistance. Every time you choose discomfort over indulgence, you add heat to the forge. Every time you stay the course when distraction tempts you, you strike the hammer. Over time. The weak iron of impulse becomes steel. Weak. I'll stop when it gets hard. Strong. Difficulty is the forge. Weak. I need comfort. Strong. I need discipline. The framing of struggle determines whether you emerge brittle or unbreakable. Picture a tense negotiation where someone pushes you to concede. You feel pressure to give in, to end the discomfort quickly. The weak iron bends. The hardened will hold. You breathe, stay calm, and assert your boundary without aggression. That moment of endurance proves you have forged steel within. Your opponent senses it. They push, but the armor holds. You do not need to raise your voice. The strength of your will is the shield that cannot be pierced. Ritual is the key. Without ritual, the will stays soft. With it, you create daily fire and hammer that shape you. Choose a practice that demands consistency. Training, reading, silence, cold exposure, fasting, or deliberate work. Each is a small battlefield, a place where weakness dies and strength rises. Do not wait for motivation. Ritual is stronger than mood. Ritual does not ask, it commands. When practiced relentlessly, it transforms will into unbreakable armor. The sovereign who masters this process becomes untouchable. Fortune favors the impetuous, but only when the impetuous are prepared by discipline. The world bends for the one who cannot be broken by resistance. You must burn, you must hammer, you must shape yourself until your will gleams like steel in the fire. Forge the will, and nothing can bend you. In modern life, untouchability takes a different form, but follows the same principle. It is not about armor and swords. It is about independence of mind and freedom from begging. Those who thrive are not the ones desperate for approval, but the ones who move forward regardless of applause. A colleague who always seeks validation is easy to manipulate. A leader who stays firm, even when unpopular, commands respect. Weak. Do they like me? Strong. Do they respect my stance? Weak. I hope to be accepted. Strong. I ensure I am not ignored. Approval is fragile currency. Respect is durable power. Untouchable presence is shown in how you handle pressure. Imagine a negotiation where someone threatens to walk away unless you concede. If you panic, you reveal dependency. If you remain calm, knowing your value, you expose their bluff. The crown of fire is not literal, but metaphorical. It is the invisible aura that surrounds those who rise above fear and need. It burns away manipulation. It creates distance between you and those who rely on weakness to control others. When you carry yourself with calm ruthlessness, measured, firm, self-contained, you emit this crown. It is the shield that cannot be touched, the authority that cannot be begged for, the respect that is not granted but commanded. Untouchability is not perfection, it is sovereignty. You will still face conflict, criticism and challenge, but you are no longer vulnerable to the tools that break most people. Fear does not sway you, neediness does not govern you, manipulation does not bend you. You have made yourself into something more than approachable. You have become untouchable. Do not beg to be safe, become untouchable. Transformation is not gentle. It is violent in its clarity, ruthless in its demands, absolute in its outcome. The weak man must die so that the sovereign can rise. This is the point where every battle you have fought against distraction, hesitation, weakness, and dependency converges into one war machine. Mind, body, habits, and strategy align into a single force. History proves that rulers who commanded themselves fully could command nations. Without inner sovereignty, outer authority collapses. With it, the throne is inevitable. The convergence begins in the mind. You have learned to guard it like a throne, refusing doubt and ruling with presence. You have claimed your mornings as battlefields, striking first before comfort ambushed you. You have embraced stillness as a sharpened blade. Seeing what noise concealed, you have eliminated distractions with ruthless precision, cutting away liabilities. You have mastered the mask of command, shaping perception as armor. You have called forth the inner assassin, slaying excuses with cold clarity. You have fed the wolf, denying comfort and awakening discipline. You have played the chessboard of life with strategy, sacrificing when necessary to secure position. You have endured the forge of ritual, hammering will into steel, and now, at the summit of these trials, you stand on the edge of transformation. This rebirth is not symbolic, it is practical. Society does not reward passivity. It rewards those who command themselves so completely that others cannot help but follow. Look around in the modern world. The individuals who thrive are rarely the most talented, often not the most gifted, but almost always the most ruthless with themselves. They do not wait for approval. They do not drown in hesitation. They do not cling to comfort. They act, and the world adjusts to their presence. Weak. I need to be noticed. Strong. I will not allow myself to be ignored. Weak. I hope they see my value. Strong. I make my value undeniable. The difference is sovereignty. The difference is ruthlessness. To claim the throne is to stop negotiating with weakness. You no longer reason with distraction, comfort, or fear. You command. Imagine a heated discussion where your position is challenged. The old self might have defended nervously, over-explained, or folded. The sovereign self listens, holds silence, and delivers one clear decision. No debate, no apology. The room feels the weight of authority because you embody it. This is not arrogance. It is the aura of someone who has already killed their inner hesitations. The crown you wear now is invisible, but unmistakable. It is not handed to you. It is not voted on. It is forged in the furnace of daily battles won within. It burns like a crown of fire, untouchable, undeniable, feared by weakness, respected by strength. Others sense it before you speak. They adjust themselves before you move. They know, consciously or not, that they are in the presence of someone who cannot be bought, broken, or manipulated. This transformation is not the end, but the beginning of sovereignty. You are no longer a pawn moved by others, no longer a soldier following orders, no longer a beggar for recognition. You are the sovereign who sets the terms, who defines the board, who enforces boundaries. The ruthless sovereign has emerged, not cruel, but commanding, not reckless, but disciplined, not desperate, but untouchable. Every step, every ritual, every battle has led to this single truth. Power does not reward the naive, the hesitant, or the comfort seeker. Power rewards the ruthless, and ruthlessness, properly understood, is not cruelty but clarity. The willingness to cut away weakness and command yourself first. This is the final form, the transformation that cannot be reversed. Kill the weak man, claim the throne, rise as sovereign. The world does not punish weakness, it erases it. History has always proven this. Kingdoms that failed to defend their borders vanished from maps. Leaders who hesitated were replaced by those who acted decisively. The same principle applies in your own life. If you do not command yourself, if you do not claim your ground, you will be pushed aside quietly. No announcement, no mercy, just absence. Power does not tolerate vacancy. When you fail to rule, someone else immediately rules in your place. This is the final warning. You cannot afford to believe that kindness without strength will protect you. You cannot afford to wait for fairness to rescue you. The world respects sovereignty, not excuses. You must decide whether you will be consumed by the strong or rise among them. Weak. I hope they give me respect. Strong, I enforce my standard. Weak, maybe they will see my value. Strong, I will show it with presence. Language exposes mindset, and mindset exposes whether you are prey or predator. The reward of ruthlessness is not cruelty but mastery. When you cut away hesitation, you gain time. When you eliminate distraction, you gain focus. When you refuse dependency, you gain freedom. This combination creates sovereignty. You stand unshaken, respected even by rivals, untouchable in the face of manipulation. In the modern world, this translates to a presence that commands rooms, boundaries that cannot be negotiated away, and a reputation that cannot be ignored. People sense authority, not in what you demand, but in what you embody. To live this way requires daily proof. Each time you resist comfort, you sharpen discipline. Each time you hold silence when provoked, you strengthen control. Each time you rise without asking permission, you reinforce sovereignty. These acts accumulate until your aura changes. You stop blending into the crowd. You stop apologizing for your existence. You stop negotiating with weakness. You become the kind of figure that others must adjust to, not the one constantly adjusting. The lesson is simple, but merciless. Power rewards the ruthless, because only the ruthless have cut away everything that weakens command. If you choose to remain naive, the world does not argue with you, it simply forgets you. If you choose sovereignty, the world bends to you. Take this law into yourself, not as a suggestion, but as command. Rule your mind. Wield your presence. Strike with ruthlessness. The throne is yours.